Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Let's just get into the stories, shall we? I have them in no particular order, and I actually have quite a few. Some of them are short, and that's why I added them. No, I did not add them because they were short. I just wanted to touch on them so badly. So I just threw a bunch in a little notes app. I just opened them all and we're just going to go one by one. Let's begin. Okay, this one was deleted. Actually, within the time span, I pulled them up at the gym this morning and all of them were there. And then I just pulled one up to start reading and it was gone. But on Reddit, you can like search and sometimes they get reposted. So I put in the title and somebody had reposted it. It was only posted 2 days ago. Obviously, when I see that they've been deleted, I just automatically assume that somebody saw it or like the husband in this case saw it. And I'm like, damn, that's hella awkward. Because if I saw online, like if me and Carter got into a tussle and he posted about it on Reddit, I would literally kill him. So I understand, but it's like, damn, I want to know what's going on behind the scenes. And sometimes you can still like, it shows the username who posted the Reddit thing. And sometimes people delete the whole account or sometimes they just delete the story. So you can still go into their page, which I honestly don't really go in. I'm not like that fascinated. But in this case, I kind of wanted to go in and see like, had they said anything anywhere else? You know what I'm saying? But anywho, let's just get into the story. I, 24 female, found my husband, 24 male, liking thirst traps on our wedding day. Yup. I brought this up to Carter because he does not have social media, but I had a friend back in the day who I'm spoken about before who literally, sweet girl, she was like 28 in her first relationship and she was dating a guy who was like 30 or 31 and he was all up in the Instagram models, following them, liking them, fucking boobs, tits, ass everywhere. And she was so upset, but it was her first relationship. So she just had such a hard time like advocating for herself and speaking up and saying that she doesn't like it. She always had to get drunk to bring it up. But this story, which it's not extremely juicy, but I thought it'd have a lot of good talking points. It's like if you are in a relationship right now and this is a constant battle that you are going back and forth, do not marry that man because this is what's going to end up. And this is a completely different scenario. She had no idea that he was doing this until she saw it after they were married. But for girlies that have a heads up, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know that your partner does this and it's a constant conversation piece. Do not marry that man. Do not marry that man. And I would even go as far to say, for example, I dated a guy in the past and right when we met, I obviously went to the Instagram and I looked up the following and there were some naked fucking models, you know, Summer Rae or like those girls that post. This was like back in the day. I don't know as much anymore because thankfully I have a husband, fiance, who has no social media and like would never. So I'm not that well versed, but back when you're dating, you see all the guys and who they follow and all of the girls. But I started dating this guy and the very first day I like knew who he was. I searched the Instagram and he followed them. And then when we started dating, he unfollowed them, which at the time I was like, oh my gosh, amazing, which it is good to some extent, but it's also like the fact that he was following them in the first place, I think shows a character flaw. And that is gross to me in the first place. Like, yeah, he's not doing it now out of respect to me because we're in a relationship, but the fact that he was that kind of man in the first place. Do you get what I'm saying? Because there are so many men out there that don't follow those girls and don't see that kind of stuff and don't like get whatever entertainment it is out of following Instagram models, if you catch my drift. But okay, let's just get into the story. Again, I brought this up because I wanted to talk about all these things, but we'll get into it. Hi everyone. For context, my boyfriend and I were together 2 years and friends / coworkers for a year before that. We weren't planning on getting married right now, but we found ourselves forced to due to citizenship problems that arose with our lovely new presidency. Like I mentioned, marriage wasn't in our plans, but we agreed that we did love each other and we wanted to marry each other in the future anyway, and so we didn't have any other choice right now if we wanted to stay together. oy, 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 oy. That's a horrible fucking reason to get married. And it's valid. I get it. It's similar to when people move in together because financially it makes sense. Like you need to potentially, or things would just be better. But it's like, if the reason that you're moving in together is for financial reasons, if the reason you're getting married, it's sorry to anybody out there who could potentially be in this circumstance, but it's like military when people get married because they're going to go serve or whatever, or you get benefits when you're married. It's like, I completely understand where you're coming from, but it is also at the same time, two things can be true at once, a horrible fucking reason to get married. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going. Please note, all throughout the relationship, I've never felt so fulfilled emotionally, spiritually, physically, etc. This man makes me feel like soulmates exist. He pushed me to be a better human and spoiled me and genuinely had me feeling like life isn't worth living without him. Okay, I mean, that's great to hear. He's never given me a reason to suspect creeping on his part. We exchange phones without issue and know each other's passwords to everything, though it's not like we're the let me check your phone types. He makes me feel gorgeous and frequently tells me that he only has eyes for me. I don't have social media and he does, but it's never even crossed my mind that he'd talk to other girls there. You don't have social media, but your husband does? I mean, actually, you guys, I will talk about this more on last Friday's episode, but I spoke to Carter the other day about this exact Reddit story, and he was like, if your boyfriend or husband has Instagram, like that's a red flag. And I'm like, babe, I love that. I'm here for it. It's not realistic because people do. And he's like, well, if women put their foot down and said they wouldn't date men if they had social media, I'm like, no, I totally agree. But he's like, if he has Instagram, and especially in a case where it's the girl who doesn't and he does, like, what are you doing on there? And I get it. It's like fun and entertainment, but I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. And also, I completely understand when she said that she had no idea to suspect that he could potentially be talking to girls or doing stuff on there, because when you're not on it yourself, it's like Snapchat. I haven't had Snapchat since like 2016. So in my whole adult life, when I've dated, I never had it. And I would go on dates with guys and then I would see they have Snapchats. And it was just something that never really occurred to me because it wasn't an active factor in my life. It wasn't something I was doing. And you kind of forget what it's like. So I understand her being a person with no social media. She's like, oh, it's not something I think about because she's not on it. That makes sense to me. So we were coming back from a weekend getaway after getting married. He asked me to send a picture to someone with his phone. And as I was doing so, I saw a hot selfie of a girl I didn't know in the gallery preview. It was a fully clothed photo, but no face was showing. Definitely a thirst trap. I wasn't expecting the worst still, so I asked him to open his gallery without giving a reason, and he got his phone to do it, but I saw him immediately trying to erase something. My stomach dropped. Oh, fuck! There is literally nothing worse than when you're with a partner or a boyfriend or even a fling and there's like suspicious activity happening. I've never like spotted it firsthand. Actually, I've kind of been stuck in one time, you guys. Wait, this is actually kind of a crazy story, not that crazy. Me and a boyfriend at the time were flying to his hometown, I believe, and we were like well in it, and I was doing nothing suspicious on my part. But a man from my past, a fling or something, I honest to God to this day don't remember who it was or what it was, but they had texted me and I did not answer. Okay, I did not answer. However, I have my phone and then I have my iPad, right? And I pulled up the iPad on the plane because I was going to watch something or read something or what have you. And I pulled up my text messages, or they pulled up, and one of the recent texts was from this person. Okay, they had texted me. Again, I didn't do anything. I didn't text them, but I was like, oh fuck, if he sees this, like, he's just not going to like it, which I understand. So I swiped and deleted it. But mind you, okay, he's in the window aisle, I'm in the middle seat, and he's looking the other direction. So I tried to do it while he wasn't looking, but little did I know, because there was such a change in his energy once we landed. We had a layover. He definitely saw in the window. I don't think he saw who it was or what it was, but me in the window frantically doing it. Like he could definitely tell I was like trying to hide something or delete it, which it wasn't anything that I did. It literally, if he would have saw it, I could have explained, but he never brought it up. But we went to go eat somewhere in the airport, wherever we were, and I could tell, and I was like, oh, it hit me. Like I didn't have any idea. And he was kind of like a hot mess at times. Like he had mental health issues, and not often, but sometimes he would just like all of a sudden switch. I think he had bipolar disorder, which it was never diagnosed, but from what I've gathered, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So there would be like weird things that would happen, and then all of a sudden he would be like upset or mad. I was like, oh fuck, what did I say? What did I do? Because I could tell that that had happened. And then as we were sitting there, I was like, oh my fucking God, he saw in the window. I felt so bad, but like I didn't do anything wrong. But it's like that. Like even when it's nothing, you see your partner, like, you know, maybe they turn the screen without trying to, or they delete a message or whatever, and you're like, ah. But I know plenty of girls that have seen, you know, a guy getting a text from an ex or like a Snapchat, and it's like, oh my God, your stomach just drops. You're like, fuck my life. Oh, I would hate that if I opened Carter's phone and saw a fucking selfie of a girl that was not me, period. I'd literally pop a gasket. This girl, like, saying, what did she say? I wasn't expecting the worst still. So I asked him, like, I would be expecting the motherfucking worst, and I would literally slit his throat. But that's just me. Okay, let's keep going. From there, he started apologizing when I called him out. He explained that a friend he recently reconnected with from his childhood sometimes sent him stories/posts from girls they knew back then. Kind of like, hey, remember this girl? Look how hot she is now. Lame ass excuse, because it didn't explain why it was saved to his phone. So I asked him to show me the conversation, and he gave me his phone so I could search. Yes, queen. Lame ass excuse it is. And that to me is also gross. Similar to a guy that I dated in the past, he had a friend that would always send him like hot girls from Hinge, and it was never like a cute, sweet, nice girl that just looked like somebody he should date. It was always girls that were like literally thirst trapping it up on Hinge, and it was like, no, look at this on that one, look at this. That to me is disrespectful. Like even if my boyfriend at the time didn't say anything, and I don't think he did, it's just like you should put an end to that. I just think they know you're in this happy, healthy relationship, and it's just weird. And like, again, this is the same guy who followed those girls prior to us dating and then unfollowed them. He probably sent things back and forth with his friend, and like that's just gross behavior. Like Carter would never do that in the first place. Like, yes, he's a man, and men always try and make this excuse online. They say that like when I bring this topic up, they're like, we're men, of course we're like looking at women and whatever. No, fuck, like men are attracted to women are attracted to men, but still there is a level of like being a fucking gross ass pig. And not like, yes, Carter is a man who, but like now that we're together, it's like, no, I wouldn't even say that enjoys women. Like he enjoys me. He has eyes for me and me only. Like it's just a caliber of a man. Like you have the low fucking tier men who subscribe to OnlyFans and literally pay money and like those kinds of things. Like that's disgusting. And then you have like the next tier that's like following a million Instagram girls. Like, yes, you can be a dude and be interested in girls. I get that. Like that is innate. That is natural. But like, have some decorum. Like the fact that I know men that don't sit there and drool over every woman and like are faithful partners and like don't do those kinds of things, like it's possible. You just have no discipline. You're just gross. And like the guys who watch porn, like there's a hierarchy of it, which all of it is bad in my eyes. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's the lowest of the low, and then it goes up and up and up. But there are men that don't do those kinds of things because they have self-control and fucking self-respect and respect for their partner, or even when they're single. Like it's just kind of a gross behavior in my opinion. But anywho, back to what the friend is sending him, like what I was talking about. I think that if you are in a relationship, you should tell your friend as a man to not send you those things. Like, look how hot she is now. But I think that also says a lot about the man that she's with, because you are who you are friends with, in my opinion. Yeah. Anywho, you get what I'm saying. It went back a few months, and yes, his friend sent him things, but my boyfriend was also sending them on his part, following those girls and also reacting to things sent. I felt so disgusted and betrayed because the worst part is the one he had most recently reacted to was on our wedding day. Oh my fucking God. I would literally levitate. I would lose my fucking mind. I gave my boyfriend the ring back. I'm dead that she's calling him her boyfriend, but they're married. Me. And left him at his place. He was crying and panicking, apologizing, saying it's the worst mistake of his life, that he was so stupid and he would block everyone, and that he loved me so much. I haven't been able to stop crying, and I genuinely have no idea what to do. I know it's not exactly cheating, but still, I feel disgusted, and I never saw this coming from him in a million years. We had such a fairy tale weekend, such a fairy tale past couple of years, honestly, but we're married legally now. And even if I leave, I hold his citizenship/future in this country in my hands. I don't know if I want him to be condemned to deportation because of this. Please, I'm just looking for advice on what everyone else would do in my position. I feel at a complete loss. Let me just say that is fucking crazy that you literally hold his citizenship in his hands and he acts that way. And that is also why I believe that these kinds of men are who they are. Like, I deeply believe that the men that do those things will never change, especially as a 24-year-old male. His frontal lobe still can develop fully, but oh damn, yeah, he fucked up. I would say take him away. I would literally go get the divorce. Or do you know what an annulment is? Isn't that a quicker way? It's if you recently want to split, you haven't been married that long, I think it's a quicker process. I could totally be spreading misinformation. I'm not 100% sure because I've never known anybody who has done that, but I've heard the term. I would get a fucking annulment and I would literally hand him off to deportation. I would say, take this man. I am not kidding. Take him away because he is not worthy. I think that's the only option. It's also one of those things where he wasn't sorry when he was doing it. He didn't give a shit when he was sending the things and reacting to the things and talking about other women. There's so many levels to the social media and girls and consuming that kind of content. But also, if your man is talking to his friend about how hot a girl is, if they're at a bar and they see a girl, that is disrespectful as well. It's all disrespectful, and he wasn't sorry until he got caught. You know what I'm saying? Next. Oh, this next one is crazy. It's super short, but I was dying. I thought this cannot be real. Okay. My 23 female boyfriend, 25 male, got porn tatted on himself. Y'all. I, 23 female, and my boyfriend, 25 male, have been together almost 4 years now. A while ago, during a time while he was minoring in art in college, I found a celebrity's leaked nudes on his phone, and he said it was because he was using them as a reference. I told him I don't like that kind of stuff because it just seems very vulgar to me, and he said he understood how I was feeling, but I saw a few sketches and drawings, so I guess I kind of just let it go. I didn't bring it up again for a while. Things like that are not the end of the world, and to be honest, it didn't bother me that much once I thought it was for school, so I let it go. I would not let that go. You have nudes on your phone? I don't know, but I guess anywho, let's keep going. I had an early day today and decided to stop by his place. He has recently picked up tattooing as a hobby and possibly a future career. He's been doing at least one tattoo on himself a week for almost a year just for fun and practice. Not gonna lie, he's getting pretty good at it. Okay. Some of the details that people share in these stories just kill me. The other night, he mentioned he was going to do another, and he usually shows me the design before, but this time he didn't. He had mentioned it was a spicy tattoo, and I thought, how dumb can he be? It won't be that bad. My heart sank when I saw it today. an anime girl getting drilled, exposed whole tits, drool, tongue out, crossed eyes, and the bump of the tip in her stomach. What? The most horrible thing I've ever seen. Okay, but here is where sometimes I have a hard time. What kind of man tats an anime girl getting fucked on himself? There has to be signs. There has to be things like, I am picturing a man. I want every one of you to learn that a man has tatted an anime girl, which honestly, I don't really know what anime is. I understand it's like a cartoon-esque situation. I think it's shows and all of these things. But nonetheless, a girl getting drilled, getting fucked, tattooed on a man's body. Okay, picture that man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know, we can infer what type of man that is. And this is a man that you should not be with, point blank, period. That's all I'm going to say. I told him immediately that I hated it. I'm sorry, wait, I was going to start that paragraph. You told him immediately that you hated it? This is a tattoo. This is a tattoo. I'm sorry, sweetie. That doesn't really matter. This man tattooed. And this also goes to show how fucking stupid this man is. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I'm going to be a tattoo hater really quickly. And of course, some of them are fine and placed totally fine. And they're cutesy and funsies and whatever. But like, to permanently place something on your body, especially an anime girl getting fucked, what are we talking about? This man has one brain cell. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise. And I think about this often. Like, I see crazy tattoos on people sometimes, and also maybe not even that crazy, but like a sleeve, and it's like something so jarring. And I'm like, you really thought that you should tattoo that on your arm? I don't know. I am a hater. I'm a judger. But like, you immediately told him that you hated it. That's a tattoo, babes. Like, what do you want him to do? Okay, let me restart. I told him immediately that I hated it and that he needs to cover it. I couldn't believe he would put that on himself, knowing how I feel about those kinds of things. Hold up. I'm not going to make it very far in this. Number one, to immediately cover it, it goes back to the deeper meaning that this man is stupid. No smart man would tattoo that on his body. I am so sorry. Like, that does speak to his lack of competence. I really do hate to be so fucking blunt, but let's be so for real. And the fact that she just said, I couldn't believe he would put that on himself, knowing how I feel about those kinds of things, it has nothing to do with naked women and vulgar things. Like, it does, but it doesn't. Like, the bigger picture is the fact that he tattooed that on his body, regardless of how you feel about naked women and pictures of naked women and porn and those things. Like, yeah, I don't like porn. I don't think it's good. Yeah, I think these things are also vulgar, but that is besides the point. The fact that this man, as a whole ass grown man, decided to tattoo that on his body is the fucking crazy part. Okay, let me just make that clear. I get it. Some guys have some fantasies, but to get it tattooed is crazy to me. Okay, thank you. You're talking with some sense now. I also now know why he didn't show it to me before, because it's an ask for forgiveness, not permission kind of situation. I just feel really embarrassed because I know I'm not the most perfect thing to look at, but to get something like that on your body feels insulting. Okay, well, I hope that doesn't make you feel bad about yourself, because that has nothing to do with this situation. It's not insulting. It's just literally fucking crazy. Like, my family is going to see that. Oh my God, it's in a place where people can see it. No, babes, you gotta leave. That's not even the biggest issue. My problem is he didn't say anything because he knows I don't like vulgar things like that. I'm not saying I'm a saint. We've all done some things, and I have tattoos too. So it's nothing against tattoos, but this is literal porn. Like, what the fuck was he thinking? And he was sneaky about it too. Yes, what was he thinking? That is the biggest issue. I'm sorry. I'm starting to think Homegirl is not the smartest either. Like, that stupid oopsie smile on his face when I saw it pissed me off. I would never do something like that. Like, I didn't get my nose pierced because he didn't like them. Oh, that's fucking crazy. Not because he said don't get them. He encouraged it because it was something I wanted, but he did express to me how happy he was when I didn't get it. And that alone made me happy. Being in such a long-term relationship sometimes is doing things to make your partner happy. So I was really surprised when I saw the tattoo today. Oh, fuck. You have to leave him. But again, you have to picture what type of man this is. Like, if you are picturing the same man I am, then a girl that is with this guy, I'm sorry, you guys, bless her heart. She probably has nobody to like stand up for her and help her and support her through this hard time. But like, you have to leave this man. That's fucking crazy. Nobody should ever date a man, period, who gets a tattoo of porn on them. Like, for real, what are we talking about? The topic of having children has come up a bit more often, and I was thinking to myself, how would he feel if his daughter's boyfriend got something like that on himself? He has a niece that he adores and is almost like her father. I don't think he'd love the idea of a boyfriend treating her like this. I feel so embarrassed and disrespected, like people think I'm okay with that kind of thing, and I know what they'll think. Stupid girl for putting up with that. No, 1000%. Or how sad. I bet he doesn't even care about her. 1000 fucking percent. And no, third option, what a dumb motherfucker. Like, people are just going to think your boyfriend is stupid. You know what I mean? Like I am right now. He knows how I feel about things like that, and he didn't care and did it anyway. I'm so upset he would even consider something like that. So I guess I just want to know if my reaction to making him cover it up is valid. Is it even worth trying to justify my feelings because he seems more upset at me for wanting him to cover it up? I don't know. I'm just upset he did it, but I feel more disrespected than anything. Tattoos are fucking permanent, and the fact that he is even remotely shocked or upset or has any feelings that you don't like this crazy tattoo is like, again, speaking to how stupid he is. That is it. Tattoos are permanent. This relationship, goodbye. I'm sorry, this relationship, no. Not even for the fact that he disrespected you, yes, but to me, it's just the fact that he got that tatted in the first place. And like you said, it's your family and your future kids seeing that on their father. No, I'm sorry. There are no more words. Next. Am I the asshole for forcing my wife to choose between our marriage and having more kids? My wife and I, both 31, have been married for 8 years. We have 2 kids that are under 4 years old. We had always discussed that the size of our family would depend on how we felt while we were having kids, but we both knew that we wanted more than one. After the birth of our second child, I realized that I was done. I told my wife that 2 was it for me. She said that that was okay with her, but that has changed and it's now causing problems. Oh, wait, okay. I know you should probably not have that many thoughts already, but this is such a hard thing because we are human beings. And I totally agree with the fact, I don't know how many kids I want. Carter, has an idea of how many kids he wants, but I agree, until you have them, you have no fucking clue. But that's also so hard because when you talk about compatibility with a partner and having the same lifestyle, goals and thoughts and kids and marriage and whatever, when it's this moving mark and somebody then has a different idea, that's a really hard thing to navigate. I don't fault them because how, before they even had kids, would they be able to say how many they wanted? You have no fucking idea what that's like. So I completely understand saying that. But then when you are done and the other partner is not, I can imagine that would be really hard. Obviously, we're going to keep learning about this. 6 or so months ago, my wife told me that she wanted at least one more child, and I told her that I understood, but I didn't and couldn't do another kid. She asked me what she could do to change my mind. She said we could do daycare 5 days a week, regardless of whether we're working or not. She suggested using our families to babysit more often so we'd have more time off. She suggested that she would go back to her old job so we'd have more money, a job that she hated and was glad to leave, and she swore she would never return to, one she vented about on a regular basis. While I believe she would do it, I don't think that would help us out long term because she'd just be extra stressed. Oi, that's amazing of her to come up with the solution. Like, she's the one who wants another kid, and she just laid out a million things that she's willing to do and things that they could, discuss. Oh, he must be really stubborn, because I feel like those were all valid. I'm like, okay, let's have another kid. Not that it's my decision, but like, at least she's not just like, I want another kid, and not willing to sacrifice or change things, which I don't believe in sacrificing like that. If she really hated that job, I feel like, yeah, that would be a bad idea to go back, but she's willing. Like, that's amazing. And I feel like that's a really good partner, but yeah, this is going to be so hard. My reasons for feeling done are all different from each other, but complete the feeling for me. My wife has already experienced 2 very difficult pregnancies, and when she was pregnant with our younger child, I found it incredibly stressful to juggle everything, especially when she was hospitalized. The balancing act between being there for our child, who missed their mom like crazy and cried for her, to my wife, who needed cheering up and encouragement and support, and working full time while also taking care of the kids. Not to mention that during that time, her sister and I had a major disagreement because I didn't step up and babysit for her on 3 different occasions while my wife was in the hospital, and I was already balancing a lot. That's a disagreement we have not recovered from either. Her sister and I are civil, but not friendly like we used to be. Holy fuck, she expected you to babysit for her when your wife is in the hospital pregnant and you have a child and a job, a full-time fucking job. I'm sorry. I know you weren't asking, but the sister's in the wrong. This platform has given me too many abilities to give my opinion and express what I think is okay and not okay. So those are all valid. Fuck. Yeah, God. Children, like, there needs to be a way. I'm sorry if you're watching this, I have something in my eyeball, but there needs to be a way that before children, adults and couples are able to like somehow get an idea of what it's like. But I fear that there is not anything that can replicate what having children is like. I'm sitting here without fucking children, but like hearing these stories and talking to my cousin who has 3 kids and so on and so forth, you're like, holy shit. I mean, I guess I was a nanny. I took care of 2 kids. It's just like nothing you could imagine and nothing that people can prepare you for. I feel bad for both of them because I completely understand what he's saying. Another reason is the money. We spend a large amount on childcare already without adding another. Then I think of the future and how I want to keep saving for them. One of our kids also has some medical issues. While it's nothing life-threatening, the medications are required and that costs money. I want to be able to put them in activities they enjoy. So overall, financially, I feel more comfortable with us having 2. Fuck. He's making all valid points. Like, that is something you very much have to, take into account. And I'm going to say something so fucking controversial, but I don't think it should be controversial at all. I think like, not that there should be requirements on who can have kids, but when people have kids and they're not financially like set or just like comfortable, I think that's really fucking messy and honestly so disrespectful to the child. And I get it that everybody should be able to have kids and not everybody's blessed and privileged and all of that, but it makes me so sad when people are financially struggling and are in horrible relationships and then they bring a child into the world. And there are like different levels. Again, I paid for my own college. Like, my parents, made enough money to financially support me through school and have enough for food and shelter. And that is a privilege that not everybody gets. A lot of kids don't even have that, but they did not make it above and beyond to help me with college and living through college. Whereas some parents, like my fiance, his parents paid for his undergrad and like that was their responsibility. And there are people that think so much as every parent should do that. And that's not right or wrong. And I don't necessarily believe that parents need to pay for their kids' undergrad. And of course, like, they all can't. And that's just the reality of it. But like, yeah, this guy has, I think, a good head on his shoulders and is understanding how much things cost, and inflation is real and things are only going to be more expensive. And a 3rd child is going to obviously add more to that mix. So I think that's valid reasons to not have a child. So both of them, that's just something you're going to have to get on the same page about. The other part is time. We're already busy and I want to spend time with my wife and kids, both one-on-one time with my wife and also family time. Some weeks we don't get as much as I'd like, and it's a lot of work parenting small children. I don't feel like I have the mental energy to add another to the mix. Even just thinking about it makes me feel exhausted. I enjoy the family that we have now. It's never too much, but I personally feel like for me, it would be. And ignoring one of my kids would not be an option for me. Oh, man. It sounds like he knows what the fuck he's talking about. I have explained this all to my wife, and she still believes that we can figure out something that can make us both happy and work for us both. Prior to 6 months ago, we had discussed my getting a vasectomy, and I even booked a consult to discuss this. My wife told me she wanted me to put it on hold when this discussion came up. And now we've reached a point where my wife has admitted to me that while she doesn't want a divorce, she resents my refusal to give in and will resent me if I won't have more children with her, at least just one more. She told me she won't be able to help it because she feels this burning desire for more kids. She told me I won't even try her compromises. I told her it's too late to compromise when a child is already here. I told her we can't take back a third child. I can't be a dad who fucks their kids up by ignoring one or more. So I told my wife she needed to make a decision once and for all, accept having 2 kids and work through any resentment so we can try to stay married, or end our marriage and she can find someone else to have a third child with. I told her I am firmly done. My wife told me that it's not fair to give her an ultimatum like this. Maybe she's right. I don't know. But she wants to deal with this between us and nobody else. And for 6 months, we have made no progress. She's just growing to resent me more and more every day because I won't give her a third child. Am I the asshole? Just to clarify a point, my wife does have a job. She's always had a job. The offer to go back to her old job is her old employer where she was miserable. She likes where she works now, but they don't pay as much. Oh, fuck. That's so hard. But like, she's also kind of giving you an ultimatum. Like, yes, you're giving her an ultimatum, but like she's saying kids, it goes both ways. Like, you both have what you want and you're not finding a compromise, but I feel like you should go to therapy. The fact that he said that at the end where she just wants it to be between them, I feel like she might be resisting therapy, but I feel like a therapist would be such a good opportunity here to discuss with somebody else, and maybe they have things you haven't even thought of. But yeah, like what, you have a third child, which is such a bigger risk, or like such a bigger thing than not having a child and living with that resentment. Because what if you have the third child and the husband can't handle it and then he resents her? Like, I don't understand why her feelings are more valid than his, because they're both wanting something that the other is not. I feel like a therapist would really help in this, because I don't know how else you're going to come to an agreement. Like, nobody is right or wrong. They both have their points. She wants a child, and yeah, I don't think he should like hinder her from that, or like he's saying, that's fucking crazy to go have a child with another man, because like that's wild. But he is firm on not wanting another child. But like, I don't know what it's like to be a woman who like is dying to have another child. You know what I mean? I was sitting here thinking about it, and I really think that a therapist and like an unbiased opinion is the only answer, because his reasons are all very logical and like based on financial reasons and his bandwidth, and like she wants another kid, which I'm not saying is not valid, but I think they really just need to sit down, because they need to be fully in agreement with what that decision is, because bringing a child into this world is like the biggest decision you could ever make in your literal lifetime, and they just need to get on the same page. Wait, okay, next. Oh my gosh, you guys, this one almost feels fake, but I love it. Okay, am I the asshole for telling my sister that her baby isn't a real baby? You'll get why it's funny in a second. I, 26 female, got engaged to my fiance on January 1st. I was very excited to share with my family, of course, and everyone congratulated me and my fiance. I sent a picture of my ring to my family group chat as well as my Instagram, and everyone has been commenting on the fact that I got a very big diamond. My diamond is a lab-grown diamond that is just under 5 carats. Pop the fuck off, queen. Yes. I specifically asked for a lab diamond as I believe they're more ethical, as you never know if a mine diamond is a blood diamond. My sister, 31 female, was very excited for me, but as soon as I showed her my ring, her mood changed and she was telling me that it was too flashy and that it's not practical and that it's too trendy and not timeless. How the fuck are you going to say that about somebody else's ring? I don't know what having a sister is like, but it sounds fucking awful. I'm not kidding. It sounds fucking awful, and I'm so glad I don't have one. I'm sorry if that's mean, but like every story I hear of girls having sisters, like I know I'm sure the bond is greater than anything else, but they're always so fucking bitchy to one another. Like I just could not live like that. But back to the story. That's crazy that she says that, and it's not your ring, bitch. Anybody who comments on somebody else's ring, shut the fuck up. It's not your ring. My ring is a pear-shaped solitaire ring with a Marquise band, and I love it. My sister then told me that there was no way that my fiance could afford my ring. True, if it was a mine diamond, it would be 10 times the price, and my fiance is a second-year resident, and that I should test to see if it's a real diamond. Oh my, be so fucking for real. I'm sorry. I replied that since it's a lab diamond, it was a lot less expensive. She then proceeded to tell me how lab diamonds aren't real diamonds, and since they're made in a lab, it doesn't hold the same sentimental value. How the fuck are you gonna tell somebody what the sentimental value is of something? Do you know what sentimental value means? I'm sorry. And I'm not even saying this. My diamond is a lab grown diamond as well. Like I don't have these fucking, you guys know me. I don't honestly give a shit about anything. Like I do not care about really much at all in this lifetime. But like, it doesn't make me upset. Like if anybody has a comment on my ring, actually we got into a conversation with nanny family and like nanny mom would never get a lab diamond because she's kind of snooty like that. And it's like, who fucking cares? Like, I don't give a shit. It's my diamond. And my honest thoughts are like, if you require like this or that from your partner, like that is shitty. The fact that you need more money or like whatever the thing is required of your partner, you can have whatever preference you want, but it does not mean that the man loves the woman any less. Like, I'm sorry, it's a fucking ring. Who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? My sister's ring, on the other hand, is a small 1 carat mine diamond, and it's beautiful. I never said anything bad about her ring, and it suits her. Your sister's jealous. Your sister is a jealous bitch. No, okay, Brenna, be for real, but like, come on. I tried to laugh it off and I told her that I asked for a lab diamond and that I don't want a mined diamond. When I said that, she started yelling at me that it wasn't even a real diamond in the first place and that it was grown in a lab, not the ground. I'm sorry. Some people are fucking crazy. If you feel that strongly about it, you're insecure. You're jealous. Like there's no reason for like these emotions. Like anytime somebody is upset about anything in this life, like it clearly triggers them in some sort of way. So like you care a lot more about this than I do. Why do you care so much about my ring and your sister asked for a lab diamond? Like why is that triggering to you at all? Right? Like there's something underlying, like she's clearly jealous. Like really there's no other answer. I'm sorry. I hate to say that women are jealous. Like it's not always jealousy, but like if you're that bothered by something that has nothing to do with you, literally quite nothing to do with you, you're jealous. That's when I said, by her logic, my niece wasn't a real baby then because she was an IVF baby and grown in a lab too. I'm sorry. It's not funny, but like, yeah, be a bitch. I'm gonna also be a bitch. My sister and her husband had a lot of issues conceiving as my sister had some complications with endometriosis. Their IVF journey was really tough and they had multiple rounds and attempts and 1 miscarriage, but finally got lucky and had my very healthy niece last year. See, that fucking sucks and that's sad. And like some people, the sensitive people are gonna be like, you shouldn't joke about that. And like, I understand where you're coming from and I would never joke about that. that, but before that was said, it is the same thing. Kind of, not really. And I get that that's like way more of a sensitive topic, so don't fucking cancel me because it's a diamond and we're talking about a baby. But like, if her sister was fucking yelling at her about her diamond not being real, I feel like it was warranted. I do. And I didn't say it, don't put words in my mouth, but like, hello. Of course though, these people are gonna be like the victim. Like, she's gonna all of a sudden turn around and be like, oh my gosh, how dare you, like, we went through so much, which is true and valid, and that's horrible, and that's like absolutely terrible. That's not what I'm saying, okay? Don't twist my motherfucking words. That's not what I'm saying. But like, in the context of her freaking out about the diamond, you know, because people often make that reference, which is it the same thing? I don't know. And you can't compare the two. You cannot compare a diamond to a baby, but like, all in all, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's fucking ballsy. But this is also going back to the thing about sisters. Sisters are fucking crazy. They're crazy. I know that my sister had a hard time conceiving. That was kind of the point I was making. My niece started in a lab, but she has beautiful meaning behind her life too. When I made the comment that my niece wasn't a real baby because she was an IVF baby, my sister started crying over the phone. Her husband then called me and berated me and told me I was insensitive and couldn't understand the depths of her emotional turmoil and that I shouldn't have started a fight over a ring. He even said I was ableist. I have endometriosis too. Oh my gosh. Of course, because, well, that's what's going to happen. I just literally said this. That is a way more sensitive topic, obviously, but she's not the one who started the fight. She's not the one who started it. So like, it is fucking horrible. It is mean. And like, people that go through that, that's hard. And it's not something to joke about. I get it. But like, her sister was also being a cunt. You know what I mean? My mom says it's not a big deal, but I should let my sister cool off. Oh my God, finally a mother who's like not an insane person. I usually babysit my niece pretty often, but my sister hasn't been answering my calls for a week. My fiance says, although I probably shouldn't have said that, I was justified. I didn't mean it seriously. I know my niece is a real baby and I adore her and spoil her all the time. I mean, yeah, like exactly what the fiance said. It probably was a very insensitive thing to say, but like, she started it. You know what I mean? I think everybody's the fucking asshole. They all said things that they shouldn't have said. Why was she so upset about the diamond and like telling her to go get it checked? Like, that's fucking crazy. Can you imagine saying that to somebody? Yeah, the baby thing was probably a little bit too far, but like, I understand where she's coming from. Like, I'd be fucking annoyed too. And like, I don't think she was yelling at her, which it's still a mean comment in and of itself, but like, I don't know. Things get said in the heat of the moment, I suppose, when you have a sister like that. And yeah, just probably let her cool off and then things will be fine. But like, also, you have the right to be upset about what she was saying, even though it's like not that serious and it's what you wanted. And she sounds very level-headed. Like, you could be not as mad because like you didn't go through the journey of IVF and conceiving and all of those horrible things. That's like, again, that's not what we're talking about. It's just like, she kind of did it to herself a little bit. Wait, also, let me just get one thing clear. She never said that the baby was not valid, that she didn't love her niece, that her niece was not the best thing ever. She was just using the comparison to talk about the logic of the diamond. Wait, that changes everything. I was thinking about it. I'm like, because I don't want to sound like a fucking asshole, but at the start of everything, the only reason she said that was using it as a comparison to say that the diamond's real. You know what I mean? She was just justifying. Not that she needs to justify, but like explaining to her sister with her own logic that her baby isn't real then. Okay. So honestly, why the fuck is she so butthurt? She didn't say that it's not a real baby. She didn't say that. She actually was trying to say that the baby is a real baby, just like her diamond is a diamond. You know what I mean? I don't know. Those people, like, if she felt that heavily about it, she's never going to want to understand. And people oftentimes, I don't think always wholeheartedly believe what they're saying, but they just don't want to understand or want to be wrong or like want to admit the other person is right. So then they just like stand firm. Yeah, the sister needs to just chill the fuck out. Okay, next. This is kind of just like a life one. Am I the asshole for punishing my family by no longer doing birthdays, holidays, vacations because my dad screwed me and my wife over? Oh, and the reason I picked this is because my sweet friend Kate, hello Kate, she asked that I find more where like the writer is the asshole. And actually that's so good because like I have seen a few here and there where the person is like clearly in the wrong. That story I did not that long ago where the girl was like so upset that the 30 women on her bachelorette didn't like bow to her every need. Like that girl was the asshole, where like the people writing in are the assholes, which I do think is kind of like a better dynamic. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? And it was really hard though to find ones where the people are the asshole, you know, like the people writing in. But this one on the page, Am I the Asshole? They have these little tags where like I'm guessing after a certain point they put the tag on there to say like if the person is the asshole or not, and this one was tagged as asshole. So let's begin. When my wife and I were talking about getting married, my dad said that he would give us a down payment for a home. Okay, I'm sorry. I need a dad to hook it up like that. We were thrilled and kept that in mind. We would be able to afford a good starter home with his help, and we scrimped and saved to add to it. Except apparently he meant a sum of money good for a down payment for a house near us where the cost of living is low. He did not ever mean a down payment for a home in Colorado where my wife and I have lived since we were in college. He said he thought I would be smart enough to realize that we need to move somewhere with a lower cost of living than Colorado. Oh, okay. So he wanted to gift a down payment of a home, but the stipulation is that he gets to choose where you live. No, just give the sum of money. Beggars can't be choosers, because obviously this is the problem with rich people. Like, I dated a guy in the past where like the grandma had so much fucking money, but she used that as like a fucking token for anything and everything. Like, one of the girls was getting married and she was like demanding that the cousins be a part of the bridal party, which why does grandma give a fuck who's a part of the bridal party? But like, she's like, I'll write you out of the will if you don't do this. It's like, no, I feel like often with people with money, not always obviously, because not everybody's a bad person, but like they use it as power over other family members. I feel like that happens a lot. If you're unfamiliar with that territory, I feel like that's often the case. So like, yeah, he's like, I'll give you a good sum of money for a down payment, but you have to do this. No, then don't take the money. I'm sorry. Like, it's not worth people holding shit over your head for. He keeps saying to move to a cheaper city. Our lives are here. Our friends, our jobs, our hobbies. You can't exactly leave your house and be up on top of a 14,000 foot peak in 6 hours with where my family lives. I told him that we would rather be stuck renting for a while longer than be stuck somewhere where we didn't want to be, and to move to a cheaper city wouldn't work for us. He said, so be it, and gave us the amount, and that was that. I expressed gratitude and thanked him for the money. It is still towards the goal. Oh, okay. Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, he still gave you the money, but like, also get it out of your head. I feel like you just probably needed to let him know like that's not happening, but I thought he was gonna like withhold the money. Well, because of this shift in our finances, we have had to make a lot of changes to save up the rest of the money. We have had to cut out vacations, birthday gifts, holidays, etc. We won't be traveling home for a few years. At our current rate, we should have an okay down payment by the end of next year, 2025. Okay, wait, I'm fucking confused. Your dad gives you a large sum of money, but now you don't have money to go on trips. I get that you want to put it towards a down payment, but couldn't you still act according to plan? Wait, now I'm fucking confused. My dad confronted us about this because we won't come home for a summer break trip, and told me that I was being a selfish, entitled brat because I hadn't gotten my way. That I was essentially punishing the rest of the family because we assumed what his gift would be. I told him that I was grateful for the amount he gave us, but that it means we do need to buckle down and save every penny if we want to be able to afford a house anytime soon. Even townhouses around us are easily over 400,000, and that's for the sketchy ones. But is my dad right? Am I the asshole? Wait, I'm so fucking confused. I mean, like, I guess if... Okay, let me collect my thoughts. I guess if you are so aggressively trying to be able to get a house by a certain time, then yeah, you can do whatever you want. I mean, these are like completely different conversations that we're having. Like, they can decide to not come home. That's completely a total decision that they are able to make. Like, you don't have to go home. That's crazy that your dad is demanding that you come home. If he wants you to come home, then he can pay for it. Like, you're grown adults. You don't need to do anything that he wants you to do. I feel like I'm confused how the down payment, like these are like separate conversations that we are having. Like, he still gave you the money and you're still going to use it for a down payment, which I think is amazing. I think a lot of people would have gotten a large sum of money. I'm thinking that it's like thousands of dollars if it was supposed to be a down payment for a house. And that's still a lot of money that a lot of people would have just blown. I feel like he should be grateful that you didn't do that and you're still using it for the down payment, but you guys not coming home for vacation. Like, yeah, you could totally use some of that money. But again, that is your decision to then not use that and save up. You're all kind of like in the wrong here, I feel. Like, you guys are able to do whatever you want. You're full-blown adults. I'm confused. I feel like we're talking about separate things. Okay, and then there's an edit. There was no amount formally discussed. He said a down payment, and that was that. For my siblings, he paid for college. He paid cash in full for my sister's house. That was $317,000. He did not pay for my college. They are invited to come here anytime, but believe it should be me to go there because I am the one who moved. No, we do not go out to eat, avocado toast, Starbucks, cable, etc. Okay, everybody's being fucking confusing right now. I'm just confused why they're calling him the asshole. I think because in the topic or in the title, he said, am I the asshole for punishing my family because my dad screwed me and my wife over? Yeah, that's a crazy thing to say, but like in the context of the post itself, I feel like he wasn't really saying anything about that. I mean, yeah, that in and of itself is crazy to say that your dad screwed you over by giving you money. I understand how you would be frustrated in like him wanting you to move home and basing his down payment on top of that, but also just like getting any money from your parents is like nice. But I can understand again in these dynamics, like when kids are used to these kinds of things and get money and like their siblings get money as well and get this paid for, like, yeah, I'd be fucking pissed if your school is never paid for and you know that they also paid like $300,000 for your sister's house. Like, I can understand the frustration. I wouldn't say he screwed you over, but really like these two just like trying to save money. I feel like nobody's like really in the wrong. Can they come to you? Like if Carter and I needed to buy a house by the end of the year and we couldn't travel like for the rest of the year, our family would understand. So I feel like there's multiple things in that. Yeah, that was kind of a bad one, honestly. I just saw the asshole tag. I'm a little bit confused. I get what the people are saying, but I also don't. Okay, let's go on to the last one. You guys, this one is just hilarious, so I had to add it. Okay, my husband got me a vacuum for my 50th birthday. That's the title. That's it. Oh my gosh, it starts out. Title says it all. Turned 50 yesterday. Husband, 53 male, woke me up and told me that he has a surprise for me downstairs. I go downstairs and see a vacuum. Not even wrapped, mind you. He said he thought I'd like a new one since the current one doesn't have the ability to turn off the brush roller when using on hardwood floors. I never asked for a new one. It works fine. The bitterness radiating off of her, and I'm not saying it's not valid, but it's killing me. That was my birthday. Not even a lunch or a dinner out. He mentioned a month ago about doing something special and going on a trip. I asked him about that, and he said he figured I'd tell him when and where I wanted to go. He never asked where, but did mention several times over the past month he had a surprise for me. Apparently, it was a fucking vacuum. She said fucking. We've been married 17 years. Am I the asshole for hoping or expecting that maybe he could have planned and surprised me with something? Anything? Something more than an Amazon next day delivery vacuum? When he turned 50, I took him to Hawaii. Maybe I'm just being hypersensitive. Turning 50 has been a hard number for me. Parents and grandparents all passed in that decade. Oh my gosh. The first comment, I'm sorry, do you need bail money? And then there's a comment under that says, my dad got my mom towels and kitchen knives one year. That's the Christmas that lives in infamy. Hearing my mom scream, I can't wear knives, through a closed door lives rent-free in my head. Oh my gosh. I told my kids when they were young and my partner never to buy me anything for my birthday or Mother's Day that has anything to do with cooking or cleaning. Yes. Take yourself to Hawaii and leave the vacuum in the living room. I'm dead. Oh, okay. Well, let me be so fucking for real with you. Carter's birthday was this Tuesday and it was like so lame. And I feel so bad. I had dinner reservations and then he told me he would rather I cook. So then I canceled them. So I cooked and I got him some stuff from Nordstrom and what else did I do? That was kind of really it. I put up a sign, I got him cake, but it was like a Tuesday and I am feeling really bad. I'm like, I hope that he's not bitter about it. Like, should I have done something amazing? We're also in the phase where we're like saving money and I'm like, what do I do? I want to make everything special, but it was also like a Tuesday. He worked until 6 p.m. Like, he told me not to do dinner reservations. So we were just sitting on the couch. I'm like, are you having fun? Like, do you want me to do extracurriculars to you? Like, I will happily do so, which obviously we did later, but like, what can I do to vamp this day up? But damn, 50 years old. Yeah, I feel like I'm not sure why. I mean, it's like a turning of a decade. Again, I'm not like a big birthday person, but the 50 marks, like the big, decade turning ones, I think people expect a lot for, but yeah, I feel like you've been married for 17 years though. Should he not maybe know you better by now? I don't know. Yeah, vacuum is pretty fucking crazy. Oh, but that's like maybe something I would do. So I feel like I'm not judging you this harshly because I'm like, well, fuck, what do you do? Yeah, that's crazy. She got him a trip to Hawaii. This is the thing, and this is how it's always going to be for me and Carter. Like, I'm not the planner, he's the planner, but I'm the doer, and I feel like I'm the one who gets things done. Oh, so I'm just like really bad at the planning part. And in relationships, I feel like men typically, like, yeah, the wives do everything, so like they're not the one taking charge, which, not to say that they're not capable, he definitely could have done something, but they always fall back into those habits. So like, on one hand, it's like, what do you expect to be different about the 50th birthday? If like this is how you operate on a day-to-day basis, I could understand how this happened. I'm not justifying it, I'm not excusing it, but like, I see how this happens, you know what I mean? I'm dead. She said I got a fucking vacuum. Okay, you guys, that was the episode. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. I will see you guys on Friday. Have the best week. I hope it goes well. And yeah, I'll see you on Friday. Okay, bye, guys.